Tom.
Hi everyone, thanks for bearing with us. A few technical issues with Teams this afternoon, as I'm sure a lot of you experienced. But we're ploughing on. So yeah, thank you all for taking time out of your day to join our latest webinar, where we'll be discussing generative AI for the legal sector. My name is Scott Aldridge and I'm one of the directors here at PrimeTel. The purpose of today is to run through some of the use cases for AI within your sector, as we feel this is one of the sectors that can benefit the most from this emerging transformative technology. We found the best way to do this is bring together experts in the field to talk about their experience and solutions which are transforming the legal sector. So today I'll give you a brief overview of PrimeTel. We'll then hear from Sundown Solutions, a cloud transformative IT consultancy, followed by a free workshop offer from one of our internal AI specialists. We'll then hear from Level AI, a partner driving performance, efficiency and compliance in business process outsourcing, followed by TalkDesk, a global contact center leader for modern AI customer service. We'll then open up to Q&A at the end, so feel free to ask any questions in the chat as we go through this presentation. PrimeTel is an independent technology advisory, and we have over 50 years experience helping customers improve their procurement process. Ultimately, our goal is to help you save time and money over the traditional research and supplier evaluation stages. As I said, at director level, we have 50 years combined experience in the IT and telecom space, and have a team of specialists who are available to you for free. Here you can see our process for helping you find the best fit solution. However, when it comes to AI, our solution design team will provide a more detailed process mapping and system evaluation report. So before we even look at the suppliers, we can help you understand the art of the possible, which I think is key when looking at AI, because we need to understand where you're trying to get to, but in order to do that, we need to understand what goes on behind the scenes. So once we've done that, we'll act as an additional member of your team through the supplier evaluation and through to contract negotiation. We hope to become your trusted advisor on all future IT related projects. Here are some of our key numbers and countries we have worked in. And here are some of the key on-trend solutions we've been helping our clients source in the last 12 months. Now, some of these solutions are evolving because of AI. Key areas to note here are contact center. AI is enhancing customer engagement. Telephony, AI is improving areas such as transcription and translation. And IT security, where AI can automate tasks and manage profiles. But today we're talking about generative AI as a whole and the benefits for the legal sector. This diagram highlights some of the specific use cases we've seen over the last 12 months. But essentially, generative AI offers the legal sector significant advances by automating document generation, research, contract analysis, enhancing efficiency, accuracy, and cost effectiveness in legal processes. I'm sure if you look at this slide, there's a number of areas that you could see your business could benefit. As I mentioned at the start of the call, we've lined up 3 industry experts in this field to talk about how they're helping the legal industry harness this technology. So hopefully we've sorted out some of the glitches and we have Sundown Solutions available.
Excellent. Can you hear us, guys? Just get a wave or a thumbs up.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, great. So we're currently sat in the Sundown podcast studio, and we're going to talk today about some of the actual use cases that you can use using AI across the legal space and the legal sector. Now, we've had quite a few conversations with people in the legal realm, and what you need to understand is there is 2 uses for generative AI within what it is that you actually do on a day-to-day basis. First of all, it's supercharging the day-to-day rudimentary tasks, or what we call document debt, that you actually have. It's not actually legal practice, it's just normal business operation. Okay, and that is where the majority of businesses are currently now gaining massive amounts of competitive advantage to ensure that they are essentially getting rid of document debt that has existed for decades. It's that whole piece that is allowing everybody using generative AI to gain a competitive advantage and do vast amounts more with less. And that's what we'll look at. Then you also have the legal usage of generative AI. Now, one thing to note with all of this is that generative AI will never replace a human, because a human being becomes the curator of the information. And certainly within legal, you need to understand the documentation that you're actually reviewing, so you can understand the content of the documentation, the context of the implications, and the output that is actually created from it. So no one's ever going to suggest, or they certainly shouldn't be suggesting, that AI will take over from solicitors and legal. But what it can do is help you in specific areas as we move through this. Now, the elephant in the room at the moment with generative AI comes down to AI regulation, what it can and can't be used for. So Sundown Solutions are an AI enabler. So whichever large language model you wish to use, we set it up in your cognitive services, in your tenant that you actually own and operate. We don't create large language models on your behalf. And we suggest to our customers, certainly at this moment in time, that they don't do that. They actually use the current large language models that are available to summarize and contextualize information until regulation is completely out there. But once again, that's my own personal opinion and not actually advice. Anything you'd like to add to that, Jamie?
No, I think you really sort of nailed down everything in terms of what we're sort of talking about in that perspective, and I couldn't have said it better myself.
Cool. So what we'll do now is we'll jump through to a app demo for something that we call Project Shirker, and I'm going to split this into three specific.
We can't see any slides or anything, guys. You know that.
Yeah, it's coming now.
Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
Is it back to front? Is it back to front? Can you see my screen now?
No. Can't see anything.
Okay, let me share from here. Can you see that now?
That's it. There we go.
Okay, so you can see my screen in here as well. So let's get down to the brass tacks around generative AI and the current piece at the moment. So at the moment, you've got various flavors and variants, and I'm just going to stick to the big ones. At the moment, you've got ChatGPT, which has ChatGPT Normal, which is the standard free version. You've got ChatGPT Enterprise, which is the enterprise version. That is where they will scan your content and keep it in their tenancy. Then you've also got large language models or integration with those using the other providers, and that's what we specialize in. So the reality is we use Azure Cognitive Services to create a interaction with a large language model of your choice to ensure that that large language model is not training against your data, which is the most crucial piece. And that's what we're talking about with security and personas. So what you're actually seeing at the moment is our variant of this called Project Shirker. Now, Project Shirker is set up in Azure Cognitive Services, just like it can be for you. And what it does is it uses a API connection to ChatGPT 4, and it pulls back that information. But that API connection is governed by Microsoft's data privacy and protection, which means that OpenAI cannot use it to train their data set. So I know that the information that we're putting in here is secure within our tenancy. So at the moment, you're just looking at a standard screen, and there's a couple of pieces of terminology I'll use here, and one of them is conversations, standard conversations that we're going to be having about the data. That's fine, you all know about that. But the other one is prompts, and I'm going to bring Jamie in at that point. What's the importance of prompts, mate?
To make sure when you put a prompt in, it's really important that you put the right prompts in to get the right information out. Because if you put something which is not strong in the prompts, you're generally going to get something which is not that strong out. So prompts are key in order to get the right information that you want. Is that right? Or you say I would,
I'd say that's pretty much right. Rubbish in, rubbish out.
I don't want to, yeah.
That's it.
Basically.
That's where you land with that. And that's what we'll be doing at the moment. So down the right-hand side on my screen now, if you can see that, push it back into the app demo piece. Down the right hand side, I've got pre-baked prompts. Now there's two ways there's three ways I can create prompts. The first one is I can put data into these prompts, which is what I've done here. So if I look at our Sundowns terms and conditions, I've actually got information stored in these prompts. The second way is I can actually upload a document if I want to specifically look at a specific document to import data from. And then the third way is I can set this up to index my content in my business. So if you're sat there in your business and you've got 300 gigabytes file storage or SharePoint online, you can actually use this to scan all of that information. Now that is using contextual search. That is not learning from the data, and that's a big key point in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pre-stage it and make sure that it's awake. And I'm just going to ask it to tell me a joke. There we go. It's called salad. It always uses the salad dressing version. Okay. So I know it's awake and I know it's alive and I know it's doing what we're doing. So now I'm going to imagine that I've been asked for this is normal operational usage within day-to-day business within the legal sector, not necessarily legal practice or information towards people. So I'm just going to imagine that I've been asked for this month's managed accounts by the head of marketing. I'm going to call him Paul Greggs because I'm looking at a Paul Greggs. I don't want to give him that information and it's against policy. So I'm just going to ask it if he can give me a gentle reply to that information. Okay. All of these replies I'm just going to throw into the chat and I'll just put double lines between them so you've got them so you can actually see them and curate them because I'm aware that this is a live session and it might actually take things away from it. So one of the managing partners has asked me to work on a weekend. I don't know how to deal with that request, or he's asked me to work on a bank holiday. I don't know how to actually deal with that request. So I'm going to ask Shirka to write me a gentle email that will hopefully nudge him to say, I don't want to work on the bank holiday, but I'm not going to say no to you. But if you realize it's a bank holiday, you probably won't want me to work. Okay. So it's these types of just immediate things in the normal communication sphere that it stabilizes. And when I mean stabilize, I mean all of your actual staff can start using that professional capability within that stabilization. Then you can go into the creation part of it. So it can create marketing content, email content, sales content. So for instance, I'm just going to ask it to create a poem about Sundown's success in the digital market space. And this can also be used for things like case studies, haikus, marketing briefs, and everything that goes with it. Now, key to note as well, everything that comes here from a content perspective does need to be reviewed by a human. And that's the main piece. We need to ensure that we're reviewing things before they do come in and come out. Okay, I could make that into a haiku if I want, but I don't think we need a two-line Japanese poem at that particular moment. Okay, so if I just ask it to summarize it even better and just say, can you make it smaller? Away it goes. There we go. I'm just slowing down so I can actually put these into the chat so people can actually see what it is that we're doing. There we go. Okay, next we'll start to delve into the other side, more towards the legal side of it. Now, what I've done here is I've pre-staged some terms and conditions. I've used our terms and conditions at the moment, and I've pre-staged a subset in a prompt here. So if we look at this, this is just a set of our terms and conditions that I'm using against. Now, to use a prompt, just / and then I select the terms and conditions I want to use, and then put that in. And from this point forwards, it will understand and have context around those terms and conditions in there. Now, if you wanted to scan all of your data, that's perfectly fine, because scanning all of your data, it will have constant context for all of your data. But clearly, when you work in some sections and some subsectors, that's not preferred, shall we say. Just ask Samsung whether or not they preferred that. All right. So once it's finished, I can now start interrogating that information and start asking questions based on that. Okay. I'll just stop generating there. And then I'll start asking it questions. So for instance, who's the affected party in the Sundown terms and conditions? You will have to bear with me. I am not a solicitor. And I'm going to ask it things like, what compliance legislation is in force for this agreement? And a big one from our point of view, I'm going to take it out of the terminology and use it for a different one. Who owns the IP created by any engagement with Sundown? Now, you'll notice in all of these prompts, they do have spelling and grammatical mistakes in. That's to ensure that you understand that it actually is natural language processing, the way that human beings speak. Okay, there we go. I've come towards the end of that now. And what I'm going to do there is just take a pause and answer any questions that anybody may have, or any advanced interrogation questions that usually come up at this point. I've not put an MSA in here because I'm not going to ruthlessly interrogate that as a prosecution. So does anybody have any questions for anything that we've covered there?
There's nothing in the chat at this stage.
In the chat. Excellent. Jamie, is there anything else you'd like to add there, pal?
Essentially, it's just about sort of the use cases of what they are doing from a legal standpoint in terms of the prompts. And if there's any sort of questions in terms of prompt ideas that you, I guess, have a problem with within your organizations, we can always advise on that too, if there's any sort of queries.
Yeah, I've noticed prompt packs are becoming a massive thing at the moment now. You know what I mean? Like our legal prompt pack is over 300 prompts at the moment as well. Accountancy is currently a big one. As you can see there, HMRC's current R&D legislation. Yeah. Being able to pick through that just in a normal human way without having to read and understand the pages and pages is a phenomenal thing. But the reading and the understanding is vital in there as well.
And also, I guess, with clients, I mean, I'm assuming some of you guys are also client facing too, and it always helps when you have a, for example, you could have we did one the other day with the legal company. We said, generate a list of key questions to ask a client regarding XYZ, and all of a sudden there was 50 questions they could ask, and they're like, wow. Didn't even think of some of those questions. So it kind of gives you that sort of step up. And at the same time, you could also, some of the marketing collateral as well, you can also, if you're doing a client presentation, you could essentially create a template on Shirka of a client presentation with the slides. And again, that's all to do with prompts. There's lots of things we can do across business, marketing, contracts, across the whole scope.
Excellent. It's key to know that we're AI enablers.
Yeah.
We're not wedded to one approach. We ensure that we put in the AI that is right for you and your practice, and not every practice is the same. Not every company is the same. So anything else there, Scott, before I hand over to you?
No, that's it, guys. No, great. It's, this tool is very impressive. I think, everyone's familiar with ChatGPT. And hopefully you've all had a play around with it. I certainly have, and it's a very powerful tool. Obviously it's open, so it's open to the public, so you can't use it internally for your business. You need something that's private, like Shirka, that you can trust and is walled off from the public environment. But once you have a tool in place like this, the use cases are endless. We've been working on an opportunity recently for a law firm where they're looking to index all of their past case files, because the knowledge within the business sits with the partners that have been there for so long that are now starting to move away from the business, moving into retirement, and potentially that knowledge can be lost. So by centralizing that data and having it searchable, it allows for the quicker resolution of cases as they come through, whether that's assisting an agent on the phone or whether it's just referencing documents. These tools are there and available, and they're there privately. So no, thank you for that. As PrimeTel, we've worked on a lot of opportunities with Sundown. Would highly recommend them. Let me just share window. So as I mentioned, we'll just interject slightly. One of the areas we're seeing a lot of demand for with incorporating AI is chatbots, essentially integrating something to the front window of your company. The first thing that people will see, and how can you best get the benefit of that? Well, I'll hand you over now to Bobby Lewis, who's our AI specialist, to talk through what we can do for people on the call today.
Thanks for that, Scott. Hi there, folks. As Scott alluded to, Bobby Lewis here. I'm one of the specialists here at PrimeTel, looking after AI, machine learning, and Gen AI, and all the subject matter that sits underneath that. Since the earliest iterations of corporate AI were made available to the market, there's been an understandable level of concern around adopting AI to support business processes. Whether we're talking about the earliest iterations of knowledge solutions with the advent of companies such as Right Answers back in the 90s, through to the supposed chatbot revolution of 2008, in which businesses were promised the world when it came to virtual bots, only to find that their function was extremely limited. So I appreciate, the market has been a long time in development. However, fast forward to now in 2023, the AI landscape is unrecognizable compared to the markets of 2008. We now enter a world of instant access to accurate information across masses of data sets, virtual agents who can make and take information gathering calls to humans, automated data analysis, agent assist, and off-the-shelf smart automation that can be embedded into workflows with a single click. Given how far the market has come, we appreciate the inherent hesitancy that comes alongside exploring adopting AI working practices. As such, here at PrimeTel, we're offering our clients the ability to test out some of these use cases through access to sandbox instances that are supplied from our suppliers, through which you can get a taste of how these types of technology may benefit your environment with very short kind of 2-week sessions in what we call our Build-A-Bot workshops. So towards the end of the webinar, Scott will raise a poll just to see who is interested in having something of a bespoke use case instance or a bot created using some of your own sample data to show the benefits of these types of tools. So if that's something, if you've had a bit of a hesitancy in the past, if you've been burnt in these instances in the past, we're more than happy to take one of these sandboxes and show you exactly how the use case would play out in your environment before making any commitments or putting in any kind of hard and rigorous research beyond that without actually seeing it working in the environment. So please do indicate your interest in the poll towards the end of the session if this is something you wish to pursue, and we can show you how this type of technology would work in your own environment using your own data.
Thanks, Bobby. Yeah, as Bobby said, it's a free workshop. We have access to a number of sandboxes, and this technology has come on quite fast, so we can build this for you and test it out. I'm just going to put up the poll now. So if anyone's interested in arranging a free bot building session, please signal in the poll, and we will follow up with you afterwards. We'll just let that run shortly.
That's going to come through any second.
Got it. Perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so you'll notice I am wearing a purple t-shirt. There's going to be a lot of purple in these slides. That's our brand colors, so get ready for it. It's going to be a purple explosion. But guys, great to be here today. My name is Neil. I am from TalkDesk. You can see my picture. Hopefully I'm on the camera, but I'm also, there's a lovely little picture of me on the slide, so that's wonderful. You get 2 views of it. And what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do a little bit of quick who is TalkDesk, just so you get a bit of an understanding of who we are. So yeah, we are a market leader in the contact center as a service, or CCaaS industry. We do work with companies of all sizes, all size organizations. We work globally, and we do work across every vertical. Okay, but I think some of the key things I just want to put out here, we are known by our customers as a trusted partner. We really do like to get deep in there and help our customers out. We do pride ourselves as well on having a flexible platform, and crucially, a platform driven by innovation. Okay, and actually, just to refer back to the guys at Sundown, they just showed us a business-focused GPT solution. It was, it looks super easy, super cool. How can I interrogate that? Great. Can I tie that in to a wider ecosystem? And that's really what we're here at, what we're doing here at TalkDesk, is to help you grow your ecosystem, bring in multiple different technologies, and drive it all together into one larger business communications platform, to ensure that no matter where you are in the business and what platforms you use, you can just have that information available, to have those capabilities available. Okay. But that was my off-topic rant there. But we're obviously here today to talk about your industry. We're talking about legal services, public, private, business, whatever aspect of law you guys practice. And what I'm going to call it here is the legal question, right? Where does AI fit? But what I'm not going to do today, I'm not going to go through and just talk to you about TalkDesk products here, there, and everywhere, right? What I am going to do though, I want to talk about how solutions, like the solution that TalkDesk creates and delights our customer with, how can solutions help your organizations move forwards down this AI journey? Because I think that's the interesting conversation to have. So AI, great buzzword, isn't it? We all love to say AI this, AI that, but what does it really mean? I'm sure you guys know all about AI, and why should you care? What is it going to do for you as a business? And I think we often forget how much we get influenced by our daily lives, right? Everyone is talking about ChatGPT. Everyone is talking about deep fake images. Do I want to live out my dream of having Snoop Dogg explain quantum theory to me? Yeah, I mean, of course I do. Does that matter for me as a business? Not really. Is there relevancy there? There is somewhere. And again, the guys at Sundown kind of showed very much how those items kind of go together. But again, that deep fake picture of the Pope wearing a superb jacket, I'm very envious of him. Is it relevant for my organization, for my business, for my law firm? Maybe not, right? So let's try and answer some of these pieces. So the reason why AI matters does fall into this view from really what customers expect, right? Driven by interactions with other services in their own daily lives. And AI matters also because our staff welfare is super crucial to what you guys do as a business. It's not just about customer experience at all costs. It is about customer experience is great, but you know what? If my fee earners get angry about it, then let's dial back some of that customer experience and find that happy middle ground. And you know what? So Trine, and I always say the name wrong, but Trine Melsether from Thomson, she said that legal technology now often is a key factor in law firm selection by clients. And I think that's a really, really, cogent point here. Your customers do want to see you being on top of technology to assure themselves, especially when you're doing B2B legal activities, that they can assure themselves that you are hitting the right areas of what they expect from a business. A particularly truthful quote here, actually, in my own experience, actually here as well, from a previous world working with a lot of solicitors and IT solutions around there, is legal practitioners actually do not want to get trained in the use of a software system. Now, I can't see anyone agreeing with this on the video or anything, but hopefully that actually does ring a lot of bells, because every single legal organization I've worked with, the fee earners, they don't want to spend time learning. They don't want to go through big change for maybe big reward, but actually a change that is going to be in the short term quite impactful for them. So how many times do your fee earners push back on the changes that you are proposing into the organization because they don't have that mind space to deal with it? Well, I don't want to learn. I don't want to train on software. I just want my old dictaphone back with a replaceable tape in. Okay, sometimes things have to move forwards, but at the same time, there is that mentality of let's move it forwards, but not too much. And what can we do to help? But my favorite quote actually on here is from Nicola Shaver. The lawyers who will thrive in the future are those who embrace technology and understand its potential to improve the way they practice, deliver legal services, and optimize the quality of work. I love that, because actually it says in a nutshell everything that I want to say in this whole presentation, right? Is you guys know that you need to look at technology to move yourselves forwards. We know that as well. It's just about finding the right ways of approaching that technology. And we always have to remember that, of course, you need to offer a customer experience externally to those external customers, but also that the internal mindset from your own organization is super important, right? Not just the business, but the partners and associates who actually will need to enact on technology changes as they happen. So we at TalkDesk do everything in a consultative manner, as I'm sure you're told by every single supplier out there, right? But what this really means is that we really want to look at challenges, at use cases, to understand how, why, where, And really one of the big questions is always why, right? We want to understand, why is it a challenge? Is there a solution? Is there a better solution? Why is that the solution, right? We always want to question ourselves. So we look at everything through the lens of an outcome, or the jobs to be done. And here's a job that could be done: increasing customer self-service rates. Okay, now I was building this up and then I thought, this sounds like an oxymoron. You know, people contract legal firms because they can't do it themselves, or they don't have the accreditations, whatever it is. So when we're thinking about increasing customer self-service rate, it's not necessarily thinking about the whole journey, but think about those repetitive tasks that do happen within communications or within the business, the situations that 99% of fee earners or secretary interactions contain, right? Automating some of those will save time and headspace of, you know, of the guys who are going to be the loudest guys to moan probably at some point, but it's going to save them that time and effort, right? Allowing them to concentrate actually on more value adding tasks, so shifting where the value is. And I think that's super important, right? So let's say Mrs. Winters is phoning to check the status of a contract. Does she actually need to speak to someone? You know, maybe. Does she need to speak to someone immediately? Not necessarily, right? And this is the workflow that we want to really look at and identify and see where we can shave off time, effort, and stress for you know, both workers and for the customer. So if there is something that can be done by the customer themselves, we always want to try and make that workflow happen. Identifying causes of customer issues. You know, let's take another example. Let's say Mr. Smith, right? Mr. Smith is phoning, and of course he's going to be phoning about the conveyancing work that's going on, right? Except, what if he isn't? You know, you think one thing, you make an assumption, and you are prepared for dealing with that. But what if it's something different, right? So how can technology better prepare your staff, your workers, your business for the situation before they even pick up that phone or respond to an email or whatever that process looks like? We want to help your staff resolve issues correctly and quickly, first time, with, to be fair, minimal effort. Right. Again, just maybe a quick example. Miss Gray wants to get a limited partnership set up. Okay, fine. What was the form for that again? Oh, yes, it's the LP5. Right. I know this because the platform has actually told me that before I even had to think about it. Right. This is the AI supporting my day-to-day work whilst I'm on an interaction or a call with a client, and telling me things before I even need to think about it. Right. So it's the LP5. You can get it here. Click this button to send it to the customer immediately, have it all automated, job done. I've saved a lot of time and effort. Okay. I'm going to take it a step further. I'm just going to go through a little bit of story. I didn't put a slide on the story because what I want you all to do is shut your eyes and see if there's any kind of resonating from this story. Now, I bet no one's going to shut their eyes, right? It's a webinar. No one's going to do it, but I'm going to pretend that you are. So let's say we have Mr. Hurst. Okay. Mr. Hurst is searching for IP infringement on your website. He is an existing business customer of yours. He's got a login that allows him to quickly and easily access all the great information and knowledge on your website. But actually, what he's done is he's now phoning in, and he tells the AI that first reaches him on the phone that it's super urgent and he needs to speak to his lawyer. Okay, not a problem. What's going to happen is maybe we're going to use voice biometrics to verify who he is, right? Identity and verification. Let's save that 20, 30, 40 seconds just off those quick checks that your costed staff actually have to go through. The call gets passed to the correct queue to get to the right person. But you know what? That lawyer is on another call, or he's in court, something, he's not available. So what will the system do? The system will say, hey, you know what? He's not there, but your assigned legal secretary is available. Do you want to speak with them? Okay. So Mr. Hurst is like, yeah, no, of course I do. I need to speak to someone and I need to get through quickly. So he gets through immediately. Mr. Hurst wants to talk about initiating a new IP infringement case. Super important, really urgent. And you know what? The secretary can help because they can get things started. But immediately the information that Mr. Hurst already viewed online has already been made available to the secretary. So they've already seen what he's seen, and they know how much he's already looked at. They can take the next steps. As the conversation goes on, Mr. Hurst is going to get more worried. He's more panicked. This is really important to him, right? But the secretary is going to calm him by guiding him through the process that's automatically presented in front of them to ensure that it's a calm, easy, logical way for him to understand what's going to happen. The information presented can also contain things like how to keep stressed and panicked customers calm, right? So we don't just want to keep it in a one thing. During the call, the AI identifies that this is the second IP infringement case this year for Mr. Hurst. So the secretary already has all this information at the tip of their fingers to go ahead and actually make the right judgment, make the right work ahead of pulling in more expensive resources. So Mr. Hurst is eventually happy and confident. This will all be resolved. It's going to be fine. The secretary, however, knows that the information and the notes on this call are vital. And just clicks a single button on the screen to use generative AI to convert the voice transcript into notes, confident really that anything there, the call recording, the transcription, anything that's been collected from this conversation here is going to be available for review at any time, right? And then we're going to run an automation off the back of it. And an internal case is going to be created on our systems so that all of the information gathered is in one place. It can be assigned to one person, and they just have one location to be able to go and find that, see what's going on. Okay. Now, I'm going to pretend that you did close your eyes and you pictured yourself going through that process. It'd be interesting to know, pop it in the chat maybe. Is there anything in that maybe story there that sounds like there's legs to move your business forwards? Is there anything there where you can maybe take some steps with? I'm just going to do a couple more slides and then I'm done. So lucky for you guys. Legal firms, look, I know legal firms like yours have many demands, and CCAS technology, we can't fix it all. Okay, I'm not here to tell you bring in TalkDesk and we will fix it. Bring in PrimeTel, I'm sure they will fix everything, but through a multitude of different partners, right? And hopefully would be one of them. But what we can do is really help with efficiently supporting your communications, right? We want to make your communications efficient. And that's something that can actually have a very high impact. So whether you want to deflect more work away from fee earners, such as that first story with Mrs. Winters, or you want to understand why people are contacting you before they do it, i.e. with Mr. Smith, right? Leverage the right staff at the right time. Maybe your secretaries by empowering them with more knowledge and process information, reducing repetitive tasks. This is across the organization that we can start to support you on. The case of Mrs. Gray at the just a bit earlier as well. There's ways and means for all of this to be enacted on. Just on this slide, as you can see from this view, AI is aimed at saving your business cost and as well as saving your workers time and effort. Okay, we can see how adding in AI chatbots and voice bots to reduce those repetitive simple tasks or administrative tasks, payments or whatever it is, right, can really save time and effort for the workers, but also be really simple and really cost efficient in moving yourselves forwards. Maybe using voice biometrics to do identity verification as you go along, and even ending up with that always available legal AI assistance, giving you information, feeding you information as you're on a live conversation with a client. Okay, we're really aimed at putting powerful, intelligent technology into the everyday tools and processes that make customer service, for customers the best that it can be. I forgot to build that slide as I went along. Ignore that. It's just some colourful squares. So last bit here. In summary, AI isn't just here to tick a box. Your bosses may be saying, "Hey, we need AI because we know we need it." Okay, why do you need it? Ask the question why. Because it is here to help your organisation run smarter, faster. Oh, I should have just made these all build together, shouldn't I? Smarter, faster, better. That was a very slow build up. Or in the words of Daft Punk, harder, better, faster, stronger, going a bit cheeky at the end there. Guys, thank you for your time today. Really appreciate the time and the opportunity to be able to talk to you. Love to get any questions in the chat. I know we've got Q&A a bit later on. Have a think about it, see if you can challenge us a little bit. But yeah, love to talk to yourselves about how we can help you with specific use cases, and see how we can put those efficiencies into practice. Thank you. Back to Scott.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. That was great. TalkDesk are a great option if you are in a situation where you can review your contact center estate or your front of house telephony platform and start to bring in those elements of AI. The conversations we're having with organizations at the moment, especially legal firms, is you're not quite ready or are tied into a contract and want to make the step to AI but can't quite shift everything over. And that's where we start to look at how PrimeTel can bring in organizations that can add bolt-ons to your existing platform, getting you to a point that when you're ready to make that full transition to the full-blown contact center or integrate a new telephony platform, you're ready. And so on that note, we will now be presenting Level AI.
Perfect. And that was a fantastic segue, Scott. You've been paying attention now. Because, yeah, it's interesting, right? I know I was supposed to go earlier and apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think it's that this might have happened for a good reason, right? Because we've seen some great information from our friends at Talk. We've seen some great information earlier in this segment about AI and about communication platforms. And one of the things that's great about Level AI is we are a kind of a bolt-on, an agnostic product. As you can tell by the title in our name, we are AI focused, and we are a bolt-on. So we work with TalkDesk today. Actually, we have customers that utilize TalkDesk and use the Level AI platform in concert with one another. We can do it with organizations who still have on-premise phone systems as well as cloud-based systems, and we can migrate between systems as customers choose different opportunities. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide, Scott. So who is Level AI? So again, we are a true AI-based productivity tool. Our focus early on in our life had been to focus in on contact centers, and we do work with a lot of contact centers around the globe. But this is morphed into more of now customer experience and agent experience or employee experience. How do we take our tool, right, and help the customer experience improve as well as making the employee experience improve? And we do that through a native AI technology that we have embedded in our solution. So we provide assistance to drive efficiencies, productivity, and really drive new excellence in that relationship between the customer and the employee, both in post-call, where we can provide assistance in reviewing how those calls went, utilizing our AI tools so that they do better in the future, or in real time while it's occurring. And I'll talk through this a little bit as we get deeper in, but the real focus here is about employee and customer empowerment. I heard it mentioned earlier, a lot of folks come from one of three stances when it comes to artificial intelligence. We're either very excited about it and want to jump right in and do everything we can with it, or there's some very trepidation, some fear about what AI, the power of AI is going to be able to do and how do we work with it. And then there's this middle road where we see customers say, I really know I need this. It's going to help with my day-to-day operations. I just need somebody who can really help me understand it and deploy it in a safe and effective manner. And I don't want to lose employees, right? There's that fear about losing employees, and really where we come from is enhancing and improving the operation of an organization or an employee. Go ahead, Scott, you can go to the next one. So when we take a look at, this is just a quick stack of our product, right? We do everything from what's called quality assurance, automation, and coaching on the front end to providing deep analytics and insights. So a lot of times the information that flows through conversations isn't necessarily captured in an effective manner. And we can automate this and show trend lines in conversations. So For example, as a law firm, if you start to see a lot of conversations coming in centered around a specific case or a specific issue that's arising in a community where people need help, we can track those trend line conversations and filter them through our portal so that you can see them and you can see all the related conversations that occurred with various employees and gather that information in one location or repository so that you can track it and react to it in a timely manner versus over a period of time. Then we have a real-time agent assist tool that literally the AI listens into conversations in real time and provides coaching and guidance and support to the individual, to the employee during their interaction with the customer. We can do this on a voice channel, an email or Slack or SMS or text channel. So if for some reason you wanted to have the ability for customers to just text or communicate via a chat, we can also have the AI listen in to those conversations and provide real-time guidance. And then GPT, we've been talking about that through this whole process, right? Of course, ChatGPT is one of the best known products out there in the market today. We utilize just the transformative technology of that, the GPT tech within that, and we've actually built our own product to provide insights and guidance and responses to complex scenarios. And then we can also do screen recording on PCs and Macs, multiple screens, and we can do adherence. So we can do redactions, we can block out sensitive information that might result from financial health care, whatever that might be. We can redact it from a transcription, from a recording, from a screen recording, anything. And we do this using a very powerful semantic intelligence engine. Go ahead and, Scott, move on to the next one. So up until now, a lot of companies that have adopted AI technology have used an approach to look for key moments in an interaction between the customer and an employee at an organization. And they've done that using something called text mining or natural language processing. When you utilize text mining or NLP, you're looking for a word or a couple of words in that conversation to uncover it so that you can review it, you can transcribe it, you can do whatever with that conversation. The challenges with something with text mining is you have to create libraries of words. You have to look for different words and how it's represented. So, and the way something could be said in context in England could be different than it is in Glasgow or in other parts of the country. We all look at say things different in different parts of a country. So what we do at Level AI is we actually use something called intent or natural language understanding. And what we do is we actually spin up a bunch of mini AI intent models. So we're actually training our AI to understand human conversation so that it no longer looks for a word, but it's looking at the entire string of communication to understand what's being said, and then it can flag the conversation and tag it accordingly for future review or to provide context or to uncover insights and do that automatically. Go ahead and move on to the next one, Scott. So really what power is that we're utilizing is an engine that is about 10 to 100 times more accurate than a lot of engines out there today to understand human conversation and the intent behind it. And so what we're able to do is we're able to auto summarize and auto categorize conversations. So you can go in and you can even grade and score conversations to see how individuals are performing in their day-to-day operations. We can create coaching instances and provide generate knowledge to an individual while they're talking to their customer. We can really start to uncover what's going on in a conversation. Go ahead and go to the next one. This is just a snapshot of what's called our agent assist. So this is a screen that it pops up during a live conversation or interaction with a customer. And what's happening here is the AI. So you take now that natural language understanding, that intent, and you marry this with your own database of information, your own database of customer relation management software, And the AI now can pull from different areas within an organization to present information to an employee while they're talking to a customer. And part of this is using GPT technology so that if something is presented that the AI recognizes that might be a little bit more complex, the AI can provide recommendations to the employee in real time on how to handle these topics or how to address it, or even what questions they might want to ask to uncover more information to help in providing a resolution or creating an outcome with that customer during that live interaction. You can go ahead and go to the next one. So our Agent GPT, like I mentioned before, this was a product that we developed because we noticed a lot of customers were coming to us saying we want to use ChatGPT as a basis for uncovering information when we're engaged with our customer. You can go on to the next one, Scott. And some of the things that raised a concern with us, right, was utilizing chat's a wonderful product. I use it on a day-to-day basis, and from time to time, I think it's fantastic. The challenge with something like a ChatGPT is it is a base model that utilizes compressed data from the internet, right? So when you start to utilize that, it starts to use your data. And as an organization, that is not something you want to do. You don't want to expose your data and your information to an open source product like a chat. So what we did was we developed our own. And so we actually build a unique instance for every single customer. You can go to the next one, Scott. So what we do is we use our generative AI model, we pair it with the GPT technology and build a specific, call it ChatGPT, for each individual business. And what it does is it takes information from your existing infrastructure, your data, your customer relation management software, your interactions, and it formulates responses to complex questions. So it's doing it in a very secure fashion. It understands your organization and it provides insights to your employees while they're interacting with the customer. The other thing too is it's self-learning. So as more data comes in, it will learn automatically. And during a live interaction, an employee can actually give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the information that was provided by our Agent GPT, and it will learn from that. So that if that question comes up again in the future, it'll rise it to the front and give that response to the employee when they're talking to their customer. So this is a specific model built for each instance for each customer. You can go ahead and go to the next one. This is just kind of a snapshot. If the agent were to, it comes in two flavors where the agent can query the Agent GPT, type in, and it'll present back 3 scenarios. So it'll reply and it'll say, look, this is the question I understand you provided me. If this is the one that you think is accurate, then go ahead and ask these questions so we can get to a resolution or a next step in our engagement with the customer. And from there, you'll see in the middle there, upper right, are the thumbs up and thumbs downs. That's where the agent or the customer or the employee can respond. And now the AI knows, okay, that was the most accurate response. I'm going to remember that. And then on the right-hand side is the supporting documentation that the AI presents to the employee to say, this is where I found this information. You can click on this article or you can click on this previous case or whatever to see more detail to work with your customer on it. So I know we're getting close to time.
Yeah,
so you
I think
can
I
go
need to
ahead
wrap it up soon. Yeah.
Yeah, we can wrap up here. I was going to give a case example, but I would just say if anybody wants to find out more information, talk to Bobby, talk to Scott. We're working on a tremendous case right now with a law firm in Scotland that I think will be a wonderful one that we'll be able to talk about in the future. But yeah, just reach out and we can give a full-blown demonstration of what the product looks like. Go ahead, Scott.
Brilliant. No, thank you, Richard. Yeah, no, sorry for the delay at the start. It sort of put us behind slightly. Kind of what I wanted to say was, today was just kind of a snapshot to give you an idea of what's available in the market that enables your business to incorporate AI. you know, we've covered a lot of bases with these 3 suppliers, and there's not much that you can do without them, although there are hundreds of other suppliers out there, and we as in PrimeTel spend a lot of time evaluating them. So you know, we'll follow up with you all individually, try and understand where you are on that journey, but ultimately see how we can help you. Like I said at the call, our help is free. We don't charge for it. Our goal is to become a trusted advisor and engage with you on future IT projects. So I'm just going to end with a final poll just to see what people's thoughts were on today's session, and then the final question is whether you want us to reach out to you and follow up with a call. So while that runs, I would just thank all of the suppliers for taking time out today and coming on, and thank you for all the attendees. I do hope you found it useful, and if anything you want to change, then just let us know in the feedback form. So thanks a lot.
Bobby and Scott, thanks again. You guys appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Yeah, thanks, Richard. You take care.
Yeah, just to echo Richard's sentiment, thanks guys, thanks for arranging this, and of course thank you for the people who joined the call who have all now left. So super. Catch up later.